So come to sitting. Find a comfortable sit. Oh, got a friend today. And adjust yourself so that your sit bones are completely supported and you can sit with your spine long, your pelvis nice and relaxed, and your shoulders even, hands resting on your lap, in your lap, or on your knees, or by the sides. And then close your eyes. Think about what you need to put aside today so that you can enjoy your practice. Just you, mind, body, soul on your mat. Everything else pushed to the side, outside the door, outside the front door, wherever you need to put it. And through your practice today, when your thoughts start turning to things that you should do, you must do, you need to do, things you haven't done, try to be a little disciplined and a little bit, disciplined isn't really the right word. It's more about practicing really beautiful self-care, and that is prioritizing your time on the mat. Set aside everything else and know that it will still be there when you're finished. Closing your eyes if they're not already closed, lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, and let's take some breaths together. Exhale to start. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Keep that breath going slowly and steadily at the right pace for you. Lengthening on the out breath. Making sure that each breath is the deepest, slowest, calmest breath you can possibly take. If you're getting to the end of the breath and you're feeling like you have to gasp in the next breath, ease off a little. It should be effortless and easy, but require your full concentration. With the out breath, making sure that the breath is the same intensity at the start as it is at the finish, and throughout the entire out breath. Practicing this slow, steady in and out, making sure that the breath goes right down into the base of your belly, the sides of the body, into the back, up into the shoulders, expanding fully throughout your chest. And emptying completely. If you need to, you can open your eyes, but otherwise keeping them closed. Taking your hands to the sides Lifting the hands up, out to the sides and up and back down. Inhaling as you take the arms up. Inhaling and exhaling. Stretching your fingers away from each other so the palms of your hands feel like they're stretching out. Stretching your fingertips as far away from your body as you can so that your arms are long. And one more. One more lovely round of this breath, feeling that strength in your shoulders starting to wake up, chest, and then taking your hands down to the sides, bringing them forwards. We're going to walk forwards with the hands, so stepping the hands forward, exhaling as you fold, and then inhaling as you draw the hands back up. Exhaling as you fold forward. So do that for 3 rounds while I get rid of the little dog who's watching squirrel TV. Come on, come Keep going with another round. If you've finished your 3, I thought that was a bit too optimistic. And coming back to center when you finish the last one. We're going to take the arms out to the sides and do some small circles. So don't move the fingers. Well, actually, do move just the fingers, but make the arms follow the fingers, if you see what I mean. So make sure that that movement is coming from your shoulder sockets. And make the circles a little wider still. So it's a spiral, really, not circles. Bringing them up. You may have things in the way, like I've got something in the way behind me. Just adapt, you'll be fine. Come to the biggest arc you can make and stop, and let's unwind that spiral. Whoa. So we're going in the opposite direction. See how that feels in your shoulders. Your right shoulder, your left shoulder, do they feel the same? That's coming from the shoulder movement. It's still having engagement in the whole of the arm. And then keeping the fingers in line. Making that spiral a little smaller. Smaller still. Coming back to where we started with those tiny little circles. And then wrap your hands back and forwards. This is the wrap bit, I guess. That was the open bit. Folding forwards, drop your chin to your chest and bring yourself down, curling round into a little ball. Chin into your chest. And then let's open up. Take a nice big inhale. Lift your sternum, lift your chin, looking up to the ceiling. A little bit of a back bend here. Shoulder blades knitting together fiercely. Turn, push the shoulder blades, opening the hands out to the sides, and then release. Bring your arms back down. Hopefully they're feeling all lovely and tingly and warm now. So taking your legs out in front of you. Pushing your heels away, lengthening through your legs. and bringing your toes back towards your face. So we've got some nice engagement in the legs. Feel your thighs. Just check all the muscles engaged. Do you feel like you can feel them in your calves, in your shins? Still keeping your sit bones nice and level, shoulders up, but not lifting, just nice and broad, long in the back, crown of the head lifting up. And then taking the toes a little bit closer towards the body, bringing the feet into that completely stretched position, gentle on the backs of the calves if you need to be. And then very slowly easing off that hold back and letting the feet move forward so the toes are pointing away from you. Extending your toes away. Coming onto your heels. So it's just your sit bones and your heels that are on the floor, lifting the rest of your leg off, if it's coming off. And then releasing, giving yourself a little bit of space. And let's do some ankle circles. So taking them around maybe to the right. Still sitting up nice and tall. We're challenging the core here. I'm completely lost which way around my feet are going. Nice circles. And then change direction. So here we go. Big ankle circles. And then stop. Windscreen wipers. So we're going to take feet over to one side and then over to the other side. Noticing how you can feel that in your hips, that subtle movement in the hip and that wide movement in the feet. Still sitting up tall, not allowing yourself to slump over here. So tempting because it would be so much more comfortable. But that's what we do all the time. So lengthen the front of the body, lifted the sternum, still making those feet go over one side and then the other, and then coming back to neutral, coming into Baddha Konasana, which will feel like a nice release on the hip flexors. So Baddha Konasana, drawing the feet in, taking the knees out to the sides. Well done if you've been practicing this one during the week and you've noticed a bit of a change. Congratulations. This is a great posture to sit for 5 minutes and watch TV or knit or read a book. We just forget, don't we? Most of the time. Well, I do. So drawing forward, you'll add on a little to that stretch in groin, stretch along the insides of the thighs, and moving forward again. Coming up to sitting. So if you can sit here comfortably for a moment, let's just do a quick little bit of extra breath work. Let's do some Nadi Shodhana, balancing the whole system, left and right. First 2 fingers of your right hand, if you're right-handed, and fold them in. So you have your ring finger and your thumb just gently blocking your nostrils. Let's start with blocking the left nostril. Maintain good posture throughout. Left hand just relaxed, or your spare hand relaxed on your knee, on your lap. Close your mouth gently. Inhale through your right nostril. Switch to exhale through the left. Inhale. Switch to exhale. Inhale. Switch to exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Last round, inhale. Switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Release, close your eyes. Hands on your knees, crown of the head lifted up. Inhaling just through your nostrils, noticing any change, noticing a feeling of openness. Sense of having those passageways both clear and active and working. And then opening your eyes, bringing your hands to the mat, bring yourself into tabletop position. Setting up your tabletop so that your hands are underneath your shoulders, knees under your hips, feet directly out behind you. And we're going to push back and lean forward. Tuck the toes under, push back again. Leaning forward, challenging the wrists. All the time, keeping your core engaged here, belly button to spine, pushing back, stretching into those heels, into the Achilles. And then coming back to down dog. Not yet, don't come into down dog. We're staying in our position ready for cat-cow. So we are clearing the head today. We are moving things around. So Nadi Shodhana is a good start. We've had a little bit of a stretch. Which is in cat-cow today. So lifting the spine up towards the ceiling, bringing the head round and down, bringing your hips towards your face. Uncurling, coming into cow posture, belly down towards the mat. Lift your chin here. Bring the back of your head towards the top of your back. Lots of space in the front of the throat. You can hear that in my voice, a little bit of a strain there. You are stretching out. Chest, belly, activating your hips here. Flare your hips out slightly. And we can release. Let go, let everything ease, coming into sort of neutral and then going straight past neutral into our cat pose. So pushing your hips forward here, squeeze. You're squeezing your core here tightly to draw your hips towards your face, taking your chin towards your chest, lifting your shoulders up towards the ceiling. Your arms are as long as they possibly can be as you push the floor away, pulling your belly button towards your spine, curling as tightly as you possibly can. Think about making space on the outer edge of each vertebra as it curls in and stretches. And then we release. So come away from holding, let yourself sort of sink naturally into your neutral and then go just past it to start moving again. All those tiny little movements are so important. So we break it down, be very specific about the different parts of the body and what they should be doing, what that should feel like. So that when you are moving faster, you'll have all that information about where you need to go. So we're going to marry the movement to the breath, the exhaling as we move into our cat. Starting to move a little faster here, get to the extremest point and then inhaling. Nice big in-breath through the nostrils, coming into our cow. Exhaling. Make sure each breath is the biggest breath you can possibly take and marry the movement to your own breath now. Go at your pace. Enjoy each little bit of stretch that's going on, all those different parts. This will be the last round, so make it count. Slowing it down with your breath is your speed of movement. And when you finish there, coming into neutral, taking your knees wide, pushing back and folding forward, taking your chest to the mat, looking forward so your chin is on the mat, knees are wide, body is between your thighs, walking your hands forward and then allowing your forehead to come to the mat, coming into rest. Try to get your hips towards your heels. Let your body settle in line with your thighs or maybe a little lower, depending on what your hips will let you do. We're really stretching out under the arms. So I want to creep the fingertips forward, lengthening lovely long arms here, opening up under the armpits, stretching there. Very rich area of lymph nodes. We're waking them up, we're giving them space. We're moving cells just gently here, there, stretching. Improving our circulation, improving lymphatic drainage. At the same time, we're closing off in the groin. We've got that nice sharp bend. And when we start to move, we'll flush everything beautifully through the system. So looking forward now, lifting your head, looking forward. We're going to come up into down dog. Finally, we're in down dog. So here we go. Tuck toes. Bring your heels down towards the mat. Now, if you are feeling any kind of sensitivity in your legs today, don't need to try and get your heels down to the mat. Just stay up on toes. Maybe have a little bit of a bend in the knees. If you feel like you want to, then you're, of course, moving your heels down towards the mat, straightening the legs, sending your hips up towards the ceiling. Shoulders are wide for everybody. Space for the head and neck to hang. So our practice today, one of the things we're looking at was getting rid of that fuzzy-headed feeling. So Balasana is very good for that. And so is down dog and up dog. So we're going to be coming into a little bit of a vinyasa sequence in a moment. For now, steady your breath. Take your attention to your breath as you send your hips up towards the ceiling. Push the floor away so that you're long in your arms, in your back. Be strong and steady in this posture. Ease off any tension in your toes, in your feet. Still keeping your sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to look forward and slide your torso forward. Bring yourself above your arms, hands, and then taking the hips down towards the mat. So we've still got our toes tucked under, lowering the hips towards the mat, but not letting them touch. Squeeze your glutes. Make sure you have enough space to take your body between your arms and taking your chest between your arms. You might need to walk the toes forward a little. I've just had to do that. So lifting the chin, lovely stretch for the vagus here, lifting the sternum. There's that solar plexus stretch we're looking for. Hips are low. If you're finding that that feels a bit awkward in your lower back, squeeze your glutes and push the floor away with your hands. And then we're going to come back into downward facing dog. So you're going to be using a lot of strength here, lifting the hips, pivoting back. If you need to, taking the knees down to the mat and coming into downward facing dog. Not quite in just one movement, maybe taking a couple of movements to come into it. Do it safely, however works for you. Lifting the hips, lengthening through the backs of the legs. In our lovely downward facing dog again, stretching out all along the posterior chain of the body. And then we are going to come back into our up dog. So sliding the body forwards, bringing the hips down. Relaxing the belly here, making the shoulders wide. Bring your shoulder blades towards each other. Try not to drop all your weight into the heels of your hands. Try and keep your fingers active too. Squeeze your glutes. Looking forward, pushing the floor away. Big stretch there. And then we're coming out of this, back into downward facing dog. Pivoting back if that works for you. Taking a couple of steps if it doesn't. Walking forwards. Bringing yourself into a forward bend. Still keeping the head and neck low. Closing your eyes. Trying to relax the muscles in your neck. And enjoying that improved blood flow. We're going to come into a little bit of a twist. So we're going to take the legs wide. Stay low. Bringing yourself into Prasarita Padottanasana. So legs are wide. You could take your toes out a little bit if you wish, or you could have your feet just facing forward. I find it a little more comfortable taking the toes a little wider than the heels. Staying here with your hands low or hands on the mat. Just rock the hips gently from side to side. So it's as if you're taking your left hip closer to the ground by about a centimeter or a few millimeters. Stretching into the inner edge, the left leg. And then taking the right hip down, releasing the left. Tiny little movements. Stretching on the inner edge of your right leg. So it's a little bit of a lift of the left hip, a dip of the right. And then coming back, past neutral, dip the left, lift the right. And past neutral. Last time, taking that big stretch on the inner edge, the left of the right leg now. You lift the left hip, dip the right. Coming back to center, I said we were going to do a twist. So here's the twist. Taking your right hand to your left foot, left arm swoops up towards the ceiling. Open that left shoulder up. Try to keep your hips level. You may have to can't think of the right word. Just level them. You may have to level them. That's the right word. A little bit of a bend in the knees here. Don't lock your legs. Make your legs work hard. Bringing your belly button towards your spine. Give yourself a little bit more space. And that's a lovely twist for the shoulders and for the mid-back. And then we're going to come over to the other side. So release, come back to neutral, to center, and then left hand grabs left leg or left foot, and you take your right arm up towards the ceiling. Again, watch out for those hips. They're going to want to slide over to the right side. Try to bring them back to center. Use your left arm to pull gently so that you can open the right shoulder up a little further. Lifting that right arm up towards the ceiling. Don't hold your breath. Nice deep, slow breaths. Or maybe not so deep, but slow breaths anyway. And then gently releasing. Back to center. This time, lock your arms around each other. And release the head and neck. Close your eyes. We're slowly going to uncurl. Using the strength in the legs. Trying not to lock the legs. Very hard not to here because the body suddenly feels incredibly heavy. Coming up to standing. Well done. Let's come into a lovely triangle, taking the arms out wide, seeing as we're already in this nice wide-legged position. Looking over to the right, slide right, and then we're dipping down. Oops, I'm going to make a noise. So right arm down, left arm up. Keeping the body level and straight. That means not tilting around, not bringing that left shoulder down, lifting the left shoulder. So the left shoulder is above the right shoulder. Well done. Holding here, noticing that lovely pull and stretch around the left hip. Right leg nice and strong. Opening up under the arm. Big stretch all the way along the left side of your body and a bit of a squeeze into the right. When you squeeze the muscles, trying to bring your right, bottom of your right rib cage, well, same rib cage, right side of your rib cage towards your right hip. You get a bit more stretch in the left. And yes, we have held for quite some time here, well spotted. So let's come up, lift. I know that's what you were thinking. At least one of you was thinking that. So nice and centered, nice and strong. Take a breath. And then look left. And a little bit of a slide left before tilting and coming up to the side. So what happens with the left hand here? Left hand is either resting on your leg if you need a little bit of a rest on the leg. Otherwise, it's just open, facing forward, and on the inner edge of your left leg. So folding to where works for you. If you start to feel that your bottom is sticking out or your right shoulder is coming round, ease off a little and come up a little higher so you can maintain great posture. I've just had to do that because I folded over to the left and noticed that my bum was then sticking out. So a little bit of a correction. Think about pulling the left side of your rib cage towards your left hip, stretching out on the right side, just that little bit more. Breathe. Keep that right shoulder lovely and open. And then we're going to come up. So lifting up and coming out. Bringing your hands to your hips. And a gentle fold forward, only halfway. Sending your hips back. Head and neck and back in line. Sending your sit bones up, so you're lengthening through the backs of your legs here. And then we're coming all the way up. Walking the legs in towards each other. Bringing yourself into, let's come into Tadasana. So a little bit of space between the feet. Space between the feet. Look down, lining up your second toe, so not the big toe, with your heel and ankle. So that's where the straight line is for your legs. Don't worry about what the big toe is doing. The more you walk barefoot, the more your toes are splayed out. So the best way to line up your feet is to use the second toe. So from there, we're going to lengthen through the body. So think about your pelvis. Keep your pelvis strong and steady. Adjust your feet if you need to. I want you to find your strongest posture, your most steady posture. Think about whether you are tilting your pelvis backwards or forwards, lengthening through the lower back, but also through the belly and through the sides of the body as well. Keeping your shoulders nice and open, bringing your hands to the sides, palms of the hands facing forwards. So you're in Tadasana or mountain pose. Head is long and lifted. Maybe that should be neck is long and lifted. Neck is long and head is lifted. Get there in the end. Close your eyes. And inhaling and exhaling softly. And then opening your eyes. Nice to settle sometimes in a rest pose. It's a standing one. Normally we go straight to Balasana every time because it's lovely and because it does so much good for the internal organs. So taking your weight now into your left leg. So we're coming off that nice balance into actually being a little unbalanced. So take your weight in your left, bring your right foot up, bring your right leg up, slowly drawing your whole leg up till your knee and your hip are in line. Just a little bit of a balance there. And then drawing your knee into your chest. So we're wrapping around and lifting and pulling that thigh into the chest, pulling the knee into the chest. Nice little bit of balance there. And then taking your right hand to your knee, left hand finds the foot. And try not to fall over. And we're lifting. Trying to get the calf and shin level. A little hard to do. Be quite strong in the arms and have good flexibility in the hips and the knee. And then we're going to move side to side. Little extra balance challenge. Not static. Moving side to side. And then holding on to either your calf or the outer edge of your foot or your big toe. Extending your right foot out. Bringing your shoulder back into the shoulder socket. Left arm can come out for balance if you need it. And then we're going to take that leg out to the side. That's funny for me to be holding. Whoops. Focus on a nice little fixed spot on the floor to keep your balance. This is a very strong posture and requires a lot of concentration and a good night's sleep beforehand. So do not be frustrated with yourself if you have to come out and come in. Bringing yourself back, bringing that knee into your chest for another big squeeze. Extending the leg out without a hold. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly back down. Well done. None of those were easy. And very good for whatever you managed to do. Taking your weight into your right leg now. Taking a breath. Steadying yourself. Remembering to breathe throughout the practice. Bringing that left leg up. So just lifting the knee, not using the hands just yet. Keeping the hips level. And then finding, well, let's bring it in for a squeeze. Bring it in for a squeeze. And then left hand on the left knee. Right hand finds the left foot. Oh my goodness, too many lefts and rights here. You know what to do. I know what to do, but I can't stand still. I'm going to be hopping on this one. So cradling that leg, Maybe a move from side to side, add on a little bit. Too much of a challenge for me today. And then we're going to be extending. So find your hold. Outer edge of the foot. This actually doesn't really work for me, but you find what works for you. You need to put that right arm out to the side already for balance. Drop the left hip a little if it's going off. Find that focus point. Isn't it amazing how you can balance on one side and not on the other? Amazing. Nice, strong balance. Focusing the mind. Keep breathing though. Don't hold your breath here. And then drawing the right knee in. Nice big squeeze into the chest. And extending the left leg out. Arms to the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking the legs wide now, wrapping your arms around each other, folding forward, coming into a complete rest, easing out the lower back, and breathing slowly, steadily, in through your nostrils, out through your mouth, just settling the legs. Allowing your ribs to relax. Your jaw, face, neck, head, everything soft, easy, and relaxed. And then slowly coming up, all the way, coming up to standing, bringing the feet in, and coming into a squat. So extra challenge, bring your feet right next to each other, keep your knees together, and slide down into a very tight, small little squat. Little challenging sometimes, but equally keeping your legs wider apart might be more challenging. So go for whatever you feel will challenge you the most today, or the just right. So do the Goldilocks method. Don't go for too difficult or too easy. Coming into our squat, staying in our squat, and then taking the legs wide. So we're going to come into a little bit more of a stretch in the hips here. Keep your body up. So chin up, crown of the head up, hands together, using your knees to push your knees. These are elbows, aren't they? Using your elbows to push your knees out to the side. So getting that extra little bit of stretch in the hips, thighs. Breathing slowly, steadily, but keeping the crown of the head up, and also a lift in the sternum. So long in the front of the body here. Try not to allow yourself to round and fold. You want to be open. And then we're going to release the arms because we're going to make this a bit dynamic. So we're going to come over to the right, make a bit more space. So maybe take your legs a little further away from each other. And then we're going to be sliding over to the left, sending those toes up towards the ceiling and dropping the right hip, coming over to the right again, dropping the left hip. And one more slide over. And on the other side. And then coming down to sitting, however works for you. That was very inelegant, the way I chose. And then curling yourself around, coming to lying on your mat. So lying on your mat, pulling your knees into your chest, closing your eyes. Softening everything, but keeping that engagement of the thighs into your chest. Ease off in the shoulders. Squeezing your thighs into your chest. And taking your arms out to the sides, bringing your knees over to the right. So take your knees over to the right side, and then take your gaze over to the opposite side, getting that lovely stretch all the way from the back of your head through the mid-back, down to your pelvis. So we are also opening up in the front of the body here. This is a really good stretch and twist for the vagus, as well as for the spine. Bringing yourself back, head first, then your knees, and then taking your knees over to the other side, whatever the other side is, and your gaze in the opposite direction. Relax your shoulders. Bring your head back to center. And bring your knees back to center. Coming into happy baby, taking your hands, right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot, or calf, and then having a little play. So stretching your legs out straight, squeezing them in, bent, taking the knees down towards the floor. Taking your feet overhead in a mini plow position, if that works for you. Crossing your legs over each other, having a play, doing whatever works for you. And then bringing yourself once more into that lovely knees to chest, hugged in position. Taking your soles of your feet together, bringing them down towards the floor and taking your knees out to the side. So you're in that Baddha Konasana or bound angle pose. We're going to come into one last stretch of the front of the body because we're easing out any tension in the head and neck today. And we're also stretching through the solar plexus. So your feet and legs are in Baddha Konasana. Pop your hands underneath your hips. Bring your elbows to the mat, your forearms to the mat. And then lifting the head, looking towards your feet. See if you can lift your shoulders off the mat. Drop your head back. Send the chest up. And the top of your head comes down towards the mat. So you're holding your weight into your forearms, into your elbows. You're not resting all your weight on the crown of your head. but you are lifting your chest up towards the ceiling. You've got that lovely arc in your back, stretching out in the front of your throat. So we're coming, this is fish pose. So we're in Matsyasana with Baddha legs. For many, holding on to their hips helps get that movement. If it doesn't help you, you can always release and just have your hands under your thighs. To come out, we want to be pushing into the forearms again and rolling the weight off the head, strengthening, straightening, lifting, looking forward, and then rolling back down, bringing your knees in for one more hug. Matsyasana is a very strong pose. Fish pose is a strong pose, so don't worry too much. If it was difficult, it is difficult. Squeezing your knees into your chest and then stretching your legs out, coming into Shavasana. Give yourself some space, taking your arms away from your body. Allow them to relax. Taking your legs a little away from each other and allow them to relax. Taking each breath deep down into your belly, into the sides of your body, into your chest. And releasing, letting go. So with your breath here, we're going to take 3 breaths together, lying in Shavasana. As you breathe in, make it the biggest breath you can possibly take in, breathing in really deep into every single space. And as you breathe out with a giant sigh, let go, soften, relax, allow everything to ease and rest. As you breathe in, you're filling up with light and warmth and possibility and joy and happiness and all the things that you want more of in your life. And as you breathe out, you're letting go, you're releasing off into the ether anything you no longer wish to carry. Negative thoughts, heavy burdens, past hurts, floating away. In their place, you're filling up with the future, with the now, with possibility, with bright, clear, fresh light and space. When you're ready, gently rolling to your right side. Coming to rest on your right side. Hearing sounds around, being aware of the space that you're in. Feeling a deep sense of gratitude that you could and you did bring yourself to practice today. Feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the space around you that you've created, the space within you that you've created. And slowly coming up to sitting, keeping that peace and calm, keeping that space within. Breathing in through your nostrils and noticing the clear, fresh passage of air Breathing out and feeling a sense of release, expansiveness within. Taking your hands to heart center. When you're ready, dropping your head towards your hands, stretching out one last time together in the back of the neck, keeping the shoulders wide, keeping the space in the front of the body. Inhaling, gently opening your eyes, exhaling, bringing your head back to center. And namaste. Thank you for joining me on the mat. Thank you for joining you, mind, body, and spirit in one place. That is yoga, of course.